Flavia, can you explain what is this express entry? What is the federal skilled worker? What are they trying to do in Canada?
Yes, it's a points-based system, and they will rank you based on your education, your language skills, if you have any relatives here in Canada, living as a permanent resident or Canadian citizen, and also based on your work experience. And usually you ask me, work experience here in Canada? No. Even your work experience abroad, in your home country, it's eligible for express entry.
Okay, so what is this express entry pool? What are they talking about when they're talking about this pool? Like, are we gonna go swim in there?
Yeah, so we call it pool of candidates. So when you register, when you create your profile, you'll be in the pool of candidates, and your profile will be there for 12 months. And if you reach the score, the minimum score, you receive the invitation to apply.
Okay, and when that happens, then you can expect to be a Canadian permanent resident within a year, like between 6 months to a year. That's why they call it the
estimated processing time. It's 6 months.
Yeah. Okay, so that's estimated. This is different than when I applied. When I applied, there was a point system, and they would say, hey, you're young, that's 20 points. You have a master's degree, that's like 30 points. And you have 3 years experience, that's 40 points. And you have whatever, like your English is at this level, so you get 20 points, right? At that time, once you made it to 71, at the time that I applied, once I made it to 71, I was guaranteed a spot as an immigrant. And this is exactly what happened to me. Like I walked into Damascus office, which is now not existing anymore. So somebody said, okay, okay, fine, we accept you. Just go back home and wait, like give us $1,074 and then you're gonna be an immigrant, right? I went in May, right? But at that time, there was no IELTS. They actually interviewed every single person who wanted to come to Canada because that wasn't too many people. So I flew back to Damascus in October on the same year. So May, June, July, August, September, October. 6 months later, I just went. I had a 45 minutes interview with the immigration officer, and she right then told me that I can accept your application, welcome to Canada. Then they give me my medical things. I went back in Iran, they tested me, and April next year I was walking in downtown Vancouver. So the whole process for me took 11 months. It's the exact same system, except it is more competitive. Right now there is a pool of candidates. You just jump in it and you can swim for 12 months. If during these 12 months anybody in the world is better than you, you're not going to be selected. There is no guaranteed spot for it. So you can just be in it for 12 months, and you're competing with people all the way from Hong Kong to Nicaragua to Burkina Faso, northern part, to North Korea, to South Korea. You're competing with every single person in the world. The way it works is that you are like a stone. They drop you in the water and you go down. And then the more points that you get, you come up. And then you come up, and you come up. How often do they actually select people? Every 2 weeks, they have a spatula. You know that spatula, the big spoon? They have a spatula. It's kind of like fishing. They go there, and any fish who is on top, they want 200 people, and they go, shh, there is these 200 people. If you're the 201, no luck for you. You have to wait for 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks. And this point system, every 2 weeks they're telling you what is the lesser point. I've never heard anything less than 450.
Right now it's 463.
463. And you know, it's just like, it's really difficult to make it to that point. You have to be really young and handsome and everything to make it to that point, right? So anything, like we haven't actually talked with each other when I created these presentations, but this is the thing. Federal skilled worker is working based on a few different factors. Age is one of them, the degree that you're holding, the language ability, which is measured by IELTS only. It's a general IELTS, it's not academic. So if you have academic, you have to actually go and write the general one, right? Then these are the 4 metrics. These are the 4 major ones. It was exactly the same when I applied. Only the point system was different. So then, if you have a blood-related relative in Canada, if you studied in a public or private degree granting institute, which is postgraduate work permit, I tell you what it is in detail, and that's why like these people are here. And then if you have a job offer that needs LMIA, right? Oof, what the heck is this? So, as you said, when Flavia mentioned, she mentioned age, degree, language, work experience, and blood related, and that was it. She didn't mention job offer because it's a job offer with LMIA. But what I say is that I read the website completely. These are the only things that will give you points, right? Now, and I can tell you which one of them gets how much points. Like age is 110 points at the maximum. You get 110 when you are between 25 and 32. Before 25, you're too young. We don't like you when you're too young because you're going to do that, maybe, right? I don't know. But for some reason, we like people when they hit 25. And the reason is that we want them to speak English well, and we want them, and by we, I mean Canadian in general. We want them to speak English well, we want them to have some experience, whatever. A 19-year-old kid doesn't have that. It's a bell curve. It goes up and it goes down, all right? So, look at me as an example. When I came here, I was 25 years old. During the past 25 years I've lived in Canada, I generated more than $25 million in tax, right? So I was a very, very good investment for Canada. They should be very happy for bringing me in. Most of the skill-based immigration are like that. We come here, we start generating tax. Some people like me are more adventurous. We have a business, we generate more. Some other people, they just work and they give a third of their income to the government as tax. And then the Canadian philosophy is like that. If I am young, I'm going to make babies, and those babies are going to make babies, and they're going to make babies, and there is more taxpayers, and that's how we're becoming rich, the country that we are. So age is the most important thing. Unfortunately, if you hit 40, there is no chance for you in this method. It doesn't, well, if you have a PhD and IELTS 9 and you're 42 and you have 3 years experience, then there might be a chance, okay? But if you're like 50 like me, no chance, period. You can have a PhD and whatever and still there is no chance, right? Verification panel? Right. All right, the degree. At my time, a good degree was bachelor's degree. When I came here, I had a bachelor's degree. All right, and that was a good one. I was making enough points at the time to get selected to become a Canadian. Right now, bachelor's, how good is bachelor's?
It's better to have two.
2 bachelors, that's like 8 years of education, or a master's, right? So like really with 1 bachelor's, you're not making too much of it. The language ability right now, because the applicants are way too many, it just doesn't make sense for people to interview every single one of them. So they just tell you, hey, go get IELTS, it's on you. And then you go get IELTS. I know that quite a few people, they're proud of making an IELTS 6 or 6.5 or whatever, but honestly, honest to God, this is not really good for this. It's 6.5. First of all, who does not have IELTS? Hands up. IELTS. Wait, do you have IELTS? No. So, I want your hands up too. Okay. So, it's funny. Wade's first language is English, but because he does not have IELTS, he is not qualified to apply through Express Entry. If you go to that, the tool is called Comprehensive Ranking System. All you have to do is suggest, sorry?
General or academic?
General. For this it is general, no academic, right? So,
And the good one is 3718
which one?
for Express Entry.
For Express Entry?
Yeah.
3178 is.
No, 3718.
Yeah.
Listening, writing.
Oh, okay. Okay, so 3 7s and 1 8. It's just he's talking about like different things. So the language ability it's a big factor. Like Canadian government learned from my time until now that people who don't speak English, they can't provide the society with things. If I wasn't speaking English, I wasn't able to get a job, I wasn't able to generate tax, and that's what they wanted me to do. Like literally, I was that hamster that was supposed to just run and generate money for the government. If there is 20 million of me, then they generate a lot of money for the government. Government works like a business in Canada. They have income and they have expense. And they have to just, always they want to maximize income, minimize outcome. Right? I mean like outgoing, whatever. So, the work experience 3 years or more back in your country, it has to be in some specific NOCs or no? Are we talking about NOC A, B, or O?
Needs to be NOC 0, A, or B.
Okay, so do you mind explaining to us what a NOC is?
So here in Canada, we have a specific list for all jobs. We call NOC, the National Occupational Class. So classification, so pretty much needs to be NOC 0, A or B, which is management positions, professional or trade or skilled. So pretty much if you are in the list, and the list is huge, it's not small at all, although needs to be 0, A or B, it's really big, and you need to prove that you have that work experience. Can be letter from the employer, pay stubs, tax. That's how it works.
Okay.
Based on your country.
Based on your country too.
How they can prove that you have a skill in that.
And yeah, okay, sure. That's also fine. At my time, they had a point that they used to call it demographic factor. And it actually made me angry at the time. Because I was Iranian, I was only getting 21 points. While a Spanish person would get 31. It was the same person? Yeah. It's only there, buddy. All right. So, then there is a blood-related relative that gives you only 5 points, so that's nothing. And recently I read the website, somehow I interpreted it as it has to be your sibling. I think even if it is your cousin, it has to be your sibling.
Yeah.
Like cousins don't count, aunt and uncles don't count, and stuff like that. So now the one that everybody's just saying this, and there is always like a trumpet, and everybody go PGWP. This is like what everybody does. And it is not as it is advertised. So I'm just going to have 2 witnesses here that verify whatever I'm saying about PGWP. To tell you the truth, it's a plot run by 3 organizations that we can never fight them. It's the federal government, public schools, and dishonest immigration consultants. So the triangle makes it what it is not. Okay? Postgraduate work permit is what it says it is. It's a postgraduate work permit. Was there any PR in it? Permanent residence? Did you hear that at all? No, there is not. What it does, in a condition that is for very specific people, it can give you 65 to 115 points. And I'll tell you how those points are calculated. So postgraduate work permit, we are going to talk about it in very detail using the help of the expert people. The last one is a job offer which has some really nasty thing attached to it called labor market impact assessment. And it's called LMIA. Who knows what LMIA is? You guys don't know what LMIA is? Yeah. It's called labor market impact assessment. So in a nutshell, when the employer goes there and says, hey, I want CMAC to work for me, he has to prove that he has searched in Canada. He could find no one with the expertise that CMAC has, and that's why he's going to hire CMAC. I did a little research on it, and I came up with like staggering numbers as the refusal rate, and I got refused. I had a worker for me. Her name was Olga. I was just sponsoring her, and it got refused. And when I had the interview with the guy from the immigration, I realized why she got refused, or why my application got refused. LMIA, like the government of Canada, is not really on your side nor on the employer's side. They're on their own side. It's a double loss for them if I have somebody Canadian who has some skills and not working in Canada, and then I'm bringing somebody else from overseas. Because when I'm bringing somebody else from overseas, they have to pay unemployment insurance to this person who's Canadian, right? So it's a double loss. Like, this guy doesn't work, so he doesn't pay taxes, and we have to actually pay him as an unemployment insurance. So can you tell me what is the rate of LMIA refusals?
Depend on the company, but let's say 50-50? Is it all depend on the officer? Is like exactly?
It depends on very many factors, but you heard it. It's an optimal situation. It's a 50-50 chance, so it's not a big chance, right? Because LMIA always has something attached to it. There are some people in the government that they actually go research, make sure that this position, we don't have anybody on unemployment insurance in Canada, so there is a huge refusal rate on it. Some people did a research and it came up over 70%, between 70 to 90%. That's where I was surprised. But like Yasser says, 50-50, we just go by Yasser. All right?
Based on my experience.
Yeah, it's based on his experience. So now I told you there is a price tag associated with everything, right? If you are between 25 and 32 and you already have a degree, let's say bachelor's at least, okay? And your IELTS is 7 and up, okay? And if you have $35,000 minimum in your account, $35,000 to pay for the public college, right? Then it could give you 65 to 150 and then you may come up out of that pool. Because the only way that this PGWP could work is if you go to a course that is minimum 2 years, then work for 1 year in a NOC A, B, or O, and if you do that and you get paid the salary that they're suggesting on NOC A, B, or O, like it's just not like I'm just telling that she's a manager. I have to pay her the manager rate, which basically gets people not to hire you because you're asking for high money, right? If you do all of this, then you get 65 to 115 based on where you studied. 15 points is studying in Canada. We get it, ITD Canada gets it, UBC gets it, everybody gets the 15 point, right? But the 50 to 100 point that you're getting is based on what you're studying. If you're studying a 2-year program at Langara or whatever public college or University Canada West or whatnot, you get only 50 points. If you are getting a PhD in whatever from UBC or SFU, then you get 100 points. It all depends on what you're studying. All right? So, is that correct or not?
Yeah, all correct.
All correct. Okay. I want to tell you, because I hear this a lot, like some people associate this PGWP with the quality of the college, which has absolutely nothing to do with it. And I'll tell you why. So let me just tell you why everybody thinks, and it should be, that BCIT, UBC are much better than ITD. Okay? I am the owner of ITD, and I believe that UBC has to be much better than ITD. I'll show you why in the next slide. You're going to be surprised. Okay? So we call them public colleges. Who are public colleges? In every country there is a few of them. Colleges, universities. They're called publicly funded colleges. Do you know what that means? That means government pays them some money to operate. Okay? Where does government get its money? Taxes. That means every single one of us who are sitting here, we're paying UBC something. I pay more than you do. Do you know, just a pop quiz, do you know how many dollars or how much money does UBC get from the government every year? I have the figure for 2019. 70 million. So we have a 70 million. Anybody else wants to make a suggestion?
Each year?
Yeah, 1 year. How much money do we pay UBC? Do we pay UBC as a collective thing? How much money? 50 million. There is 50, 70. Anybody else? Huh? 100. It's like auction. 101, 102. It's $1,149,000,000 only for 2019, and there is still 3 months left from it. Starting on January 1, 2019 until now, UBC has made $1,149,000,000 out of your pocket and my pocket. So how can they not be good? Their land is for free, they don't pay rent, they don't pay any salary to anyone, and they get over $1 billion every year from the government. They should be good. If they're not, you should demolish them, right? And it's the biggest player. So I show you how much money they collect. So next time you're going to compare, or you're going to a shitty officer at the border who tells you that you shouldn't have got to a shitty school, you have to answer them that they're not shitty, because all this money that you guys are working at $13 an hour, you guys are working 13, 14 minimum wage, a third of it goes to UBC. You're paying them with all your taxes. So BCIT, this is the 2019 figure. I'm just giving you a few of them. BCIT collected $139,895,000. So it's almost $140 million this year. Camosun College, do you know this?
No.
It's like a shitty college in the middle of nowhere. They already collected $68 million, starting from the beginning of the year. So, Coast Mountain College, for whatever reason we don't have that figure. College of New Caledonia, 37 million. College of the Rockies, 21 million. And then we go to like the bigger players. I think I have UBC in the next slide. And that's $1,149,000,000. Yes, UBC is like this line. You see that? $1,147,925,720. That's like how exact. And because they're public, this information are all public. So it was a research project that I gave Karjit to do. So these are all from the PDFs that they published. I didn't make it up. Okay? So next time you're coming to me and you're telling me, why is your registration fee $350 and then BCIT is $100? That is your answer. Because government does not give me a kick in the head, but they give $139 million over 7 months to BCIT. Right? That's the rationale over it, okay? Just for you. Then we did another research here. What is the difference between the prices for different people? So as if the $139 million was not enough for a specific school, what they do is that they make their international fee 400 times more than the local fee. So for every single dollar that I pay at the public college to study, you guys are paying 4. Okay? So as a result, you think it's enough for them, right? You think that they get that much money from the government and they get to charge you 4 times more than everything, so that's enough, right? But it's not enough for them. Until 2014, they would give us PGWP as well. Actually, sorry, until 2017, I have to do this. Until summer 2017, our people were getting PGWP as well. I can name quite a few people right off my head. There is, who was the Italian guy? Alessandro, yeah. So there is the Armenian girl, the lady who was working for us as well, Eleonora. There was like quite a few people that they actually got this. Starting summer 2017, somebody ate a bad thing at the government and they decided, no, we're not giving it to private colleges. Private non-degree granting. It just happened. Like one day we woke up and they're like, private non-degree granting are not eligible for this. So you think, a person thinks that it has to do with the quality of the college or whatever. No. You can plant a uterus in me. You can get a husband for me. I cannot get pregnant. I just cannot. So people come to me and they're like, how come you can't get PGWP? Because I am unionized. They killed me. I can't do that. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with your institution. It has nothing to do with the quality of teaching. It has nothing to do with the courses. It has nothing to do with the knocks. Somebody at the government woke up at the wrong side one day. Now, there are some people like me, I like fighting. So I took him to court twice. The federal judge denied even court hearing. I have all the documents. They denied the court. They didn't let me go to court. Can you believe this? Like if I was in Iran, I would have thought that, okay, we're in Iran and there is like an unfair, undemocratic thing. But we see this in Canada as well. So a reporter made a research on that. That particular judge that denied me twice had denied 95% of requests of this. Okay? So it's not like I didn't try. I just went like, why so unfair to me? And they're like, oh, shut up. We don't listen to you. So please do not associate this with the quality of anything here. My budget a year is 1,000 of a UBC. So the expectation of me should be 1,000 of a UBC, right? I'm not saying you that we're perfect. We're not. We're far from perfect. But this is what we have. If you just see your schedule and you're like, I don't like it, it's not because I want to make your life miserable. It's because that's what I can do. I cannot do any more than this. There is a logical reason for that. I don't make enough to get a facility that is twice as big as this. So I have 15 classes and I'm like, oh, you want to be in the afternoon? I get a teacher and I put you in a class. Only just do afternoon for you, and for you morning, and for you evening, and for you. I just can't do that. It's just impossible. There is 180 students that I scheduled for, and every single person has different things. While one person is like, oh, I love nights, the other one is, I hate nights. And the other one is like, I have kids. The other one is like, I have a girlfriend. I don't want to be at home. I want to be at home. So I can't do that. So that's the thing. So the comparison, please, when you do the comparison, do not tell me two things. Number one, why can't you get it? It's because they don't give it to me. I am genetically modified to not be able to get it. So I can't do it. It has nothing to do. I can kill myself and become 6 meters and still I don't get it. Right? There is nothing we can do about it. It has nothing to do with the quality of the college. It has nothing. It's just a plot. It's aimed to steer people to the public institutes. Why? Because the government spends $1 billion a year on them. They want some of it back. And you are the guys who are going to pay for it. That's how it is. I did a simple comparison, like Karji did a research project as well. So I did a research project on, so this one is for BCIT. It's like an average price for our competing programs. Similar hours, similar programs, similar courses. While my highest program is $22,000, their lowest program is closer to $40,000. So you see I think a business program at BCIT is costing about $40,000 for a year and a half. Yeah, and then there is an accounting diploma is the same. A computer information system is $37,666.72. I don't know where they get those things, but there is like that the 666. I like it. It's the yeah, I know. Okay. All right. So. I did a comparison. So bottom line is, I want to come to a conclusion. So this is actually with University Canada West. So their average prices are like $34,000, $69,000, whatever. I can publish this as well. It's a public thing. I'm not trying to sneak on them. So LMIA, we just realized that it's not an easy thing to do. So what is PGWP good for? Okay? So this is the thing. We did a survey and you came back to us. There were comments over there, right? Like there were comments, like bathrooms are not clean, whatever. Okay, fine, I'm trying to fix it. Today I got a $60,000 quote to fix the 2 bathrooms. I just can't do it. I have to wait until I have that much money. But in general, everybody, it was all positive or neutral comments. But when I asked, would you actually refer us to your friend to do that? The answer was unanimously no, because you don't give PGWP. Which has nothing to do with what we do. So, every single person who's sitting here most probably will not qualify for PGWP Express Entry Pool. For one thing, those people that they don't have IELTS, they can't ever do it. If you don't have masters, you probably don't do it. If your IELTS is less than 7, don't even think about it, right? And I guarantee you, it only takes you time and money to figure this out. So I'm saying, if you are between 25 and 32, if you have master's degree or higher, if you have at least IELTS 7, if you have at least 3 years of work experience back home, if you have about $35,000 to $200,000 in your account for 2 or 4 years studying, then this might be yours. Then you're in the wrong place. Only then you are in the wrong place. Not when you have high school diploma, you're 22 years old and you don't have IELTS, or your IELTS is 6 and you're so proud you're doing cartwheel. No, that's not going to cut it. Okay? So, you think it's enough? No, there is an additional thing added to it. It's not all that. You have to work for a year in a NOC A, B, or O. NOC A is professional, like accountant, lawyers, stuff like that. NOC B is technical, engineering. NOC O is management. So if you're working in that and you're getting paid for that, then you might want to get your PR.